Hi, I'm Matthew Blades, host of Learn from People Who Lived It. And when I left radio, I knew I wanted to do things differently. And one of the things that I heard consistently over my almost 3 decades behind the mic was how much people hate commercials. I get it. Let's do things a little bit differently. Can I just tell you quickly about a few people that are supporting our movement, and then we'll get right to Learn from People Who Lived It. Since the very beginning, we have been supported by the woman-owned Advanced Systems Integration. ASI is an audio-visual integrator. They've got offices in Minnesota and Scottsdale. Now, if you're the IT director or you're on the IT staff and you need to build out anything from a collaboration system to sound masking to a classroom to a boardroom to council chambers to a courtroom, that's what they do. And they pay really special attention to that last 5%, which is the most annoying. Let's be honest with each other. And they do such a great job. So you can visit them online at asi-av.com to see their gallery of work. And then I also want to say congratulations to the Mulhausen Group and the new homeowners, Tanya and Troy. 19 offers on the table, and TMG won the deal with passion and a creative strategy. See what your home is worth and why all of their business is referral-based at tmgphoenix.com. Okay, let's get right to this episode of Learn from People Who Live.
All I think about these days, all I think about these days is getting at that goal that's in my heart. I need a reason to believe there may be a cure for my disease.
Welcome to another episode of Learn from People Who Lived It.
Overworked, underappreciated, and we're really not satisfied.
Let's just hop right to it. What is the advice? What do you tell people who are in that place?
And my advice to them is write your letter of resignation. Not that you have to hand it in, not right now, but write it. Talk about those things that you're grateful for. Talk about those things that you learned, not demeaning your boss. It's a tough place when you're in that position of, you're in that position, you have a lot of responsibility. So we're not always in that place. And when we don't know because we haven't been in that place, we can blame that person. But write that letter of resignation and see how that feels. When we start to have so many other agendas and so many other things that we want or that we're not satisfied, we begin to tell ourselves stories, have those thoughts, and justify our actions. And sometimes those actions aren't always the right actions that we should be taking.
Yeah.
I'll share a story, Matthew, about me that's a little more self-deprecating.
Okay,
anyway.
Go for it. I'm all about uncomfortable. Let's have it.
So I made a transition into the organic industry from the conventional food industry. And within about 6 months, I was hired by my mentor, who would mentor me for 12 years. Well, as a 30-year-old guy with 3 kids making $45,000 a year and $25,000 in credit card debt, I was bankrupt and I was stressed out. And I was not happy at work, even though I loved to do the work that I was doing and I wanted to continue to do it. It was very difficult working in an environment where I was alone most of the time and felt unappreciated.
Yes.
So as a 30-year-old, I said, well, I can do this myself. And so I took a step out and I decided I was going to try and make a run for myself. All the while, felt this angst within me. I felt like I had stepped off my path. And in that step,
so let me pause you. So going off on your own felt to you like you were stepping off your path.
Yes, I felt like I was stepping off my path because I really hadn't communicated with my boss. I hadn't shared with him really what was going on within my personal life. I evaluated everything except having a conversation with him. Well, I did step off, and I stepped off in a way that felt out of alignment. I was out of integrity with my life. And so what I needed to do was to recognize that that man was my mentor, that it's a very difficult thing to be a mentor, and that I needed to make amends. So I wrote him a letter, I went back and I made amends, and he welcomed me back into his company. And in welcoming me back to his company, what I decided what was really important for me was loyalty. It was being willing to be on a ship that was going through rough waters quite a lot of the time. But I also recognized that if I stayed true and stayed loyal, and if that cat came up into my lap and offered me something greater than what I currently had, I probably would have taken it. Yeah. But there wasn't a cat jumping up in my lap. I was chasing that cat, that success of what I thought was more money. And it would have been nice, but it was what I needed to go through, that adversity in my life around money, in order to get to the place where 12 years after my mentor hired me, he gave me the company because I was willing to go down with his ship and to show his loyalty, that he handed over the company for zero money, in which I eventually sold 8 years later and was able to retire, really, redirect, I would say, my life. So it was only in that loyalty. It's a beautiful thing working through the hero's journey in the business world. And it really is about recognizing those characters, those role players in your life, your mentors, your guides, your helpers, also the deceivers and the manipulators, the ones that feed you thoughts of grandeur or thoughts of what you could become, or all of these types of things that really aren't who you are now, that you have this process that you have to go through. And that if we stick to it long enough, eventually we get to that place where we reach that actualization of being able to then give back to the people that are coming up behind us and guiding those people.
Millions of people have figured this out already. You and I are not talking about anything that is groundbreaking or life. I mean, it is life changing. That is true. But this is not groundbreaking. This has been in text for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Take care of each other. It's the golden rule in almost every religion or spiritual backing that you can see out there. Treat people like you want to be treated. Take care of your brother. Walk them home. I mean, everybody says it the same way. When do you know that you're in a place where you need to walk away? When it is hurting what's going on at home, where it is not something that's benefiting you anymore. You know, let's talk about that. I've been at that crossroads before. I'm there now. You know, and for me, I had to decide that it was time to walk away. I knew that based on what was going on down here. I couldn't articulate that, but I felt that down here. I'm still grappling with it. I'm in the middle of it right now. It's incredibly scary, this transition that I think, you know, is happening, but it's also exciting. And it's also amazing to now look back on it now that I'm untethering myself from it and saying, wow, you gave a lot of power to that thing. You gave a lot of energy to that thing. You gave a lot of thought to that thing. You gave a lot of body to that thing. You gave a lot of mind to that thing. You gave your whole soul to that thing. Whoa, that's not easy to do. No wonder you're tired. No wonder you're ready to set it down, right? You know, because I, like a lot of people, completely forgot about myself. The thing didn't even become about me for many, many years. And then we all do this once we get into our career. And listen, that's a good thing, I think, for a lot of people, right? I mean, if you're a professional athlete, you just want to have good success for 10, 15 years. You don't want to think about it. You know, it is just what you do. It's how you perform. It's what you are about. But if you get to a point where I did, where you start to go, this is what it is. Winning and losing can be pretty close. They can be pretty close cousins. And you got to know who you are enough to understand which column you get to put it in.
Yeah. What's the cost of rising in your career and elevating to a CFO or CEO status? Why not recognize that right now you're a CEO in your own home? You know, it's that happiness syndrome again, you know, later on in life. There's a cost that we pay.
Yes.
There's a cost that we pay. The time that we spend rising in our careers is the cost to your children. It takes time away that you never get back. Once they're 18, they're gone. we put career, a lot of times we put career above our children.
The thing that keeps going through my head is, it's our story, Troy. It's our story that tells us we have to go get all this stuff. I did it. You did it. Everybody did it. Everybody that could, I guess, did it, where you busted your ass. You've got nicer cars. You got bigger houses. Life got more expensive. And my wife said this to our kids the other day because we were having a big talk about, what's next for us. And she made the announcement. She said, your father 2 years ago made more money than he's ever made in his entire life. And it was the year he was the unhappiest. Think about that.
That's powerful.
Right? She wasn't lying. I've said that to people before. The year I made the most money in my career was the unhappiest year of my life.
So you caught the cat. It wasn't the cat for you.
Yeah.
When I was in the process of deciding whether or not I was going to sell my company, it took some time. And then I experienced some severe health challenges. I had emergency open heart surgery. And
was that all the timing of that, Troy?
It was all the timing of it.
Wow.
So my body was telling me, you cannot keep going this hard. And then I wound up, there was a point in my time where, like you, Matthew, I was making a lot of money. I had all the money and I had accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. So I put my feet up on the edge of the desk after my recovering from heart surgery. And I was looking out my corner window and I was asking myself, is this all there is in life? But we get to that place in our life sometimes as adults where, hey, I've achieved my dreams. I've achieved what I wanted. But guess what? Now we get the opportunity to reinvent ourselves all over again. And we get to show our children how we get to reinvent, and we get to model in a way where these transitions don't have to be turbulent. If we're communicating and connecting, our transitions can happen as gracefully as possible. It's by maintaining that right action, doing that next right thing that you're called to do in the moment, moment after moment. If you just stay connected to that place, you find yourself in beautiful turquoise waters. And I think that's winning. That's winning. And taking care of yourself surely is winning. Having health issues because of how hard we're working, and heart issues because of how we're constantly working to earn other people's love, to earn their respect, when we need to turn our eyes inward and take care of and love and respect ourselves by establishing boundaries. And sometimes that means I'm not going to work 12 or 14-hour days.
It is easy to find yourself in a space where you have not made the best decisions for the last few months, maybe for the last few years, maybe for the last decade. And now you're here. And maybe we've said something, maybe you've learned something along the way that's made you decide you want to do something differently. So now I want to talk to you, and I need Troy's help with this, because now you got to set a whole thing down. You got to set all that stuff, the way you did it, leading up to now, down, and you make the last time you did it, and now we shift into this new space. So Troy, how do we get him there? How do we get him in the new space?
It's making sure that they're making the decisions for the right reasons. That we're not blaming other people for our life and how it turned out. It's recognizing that we are responsible for our own decisions, and we are responsible for creating that life.
So if I might hit the pause button, what I hear when you say that is, so if you take meetings because you think that's what you're supposed to do, or you're going to go to that happy hour with that person that you might work with down the road, start thinking about those things. Is that something that really needs to happen this Thursday, instead of you having an opportunity to take your kid to soccer practice or to dance class or something like that? Because then you get into that thing where comes the weekend, your kid doesn't feel that connected to you. Why? Because you've been gone all week. They haven't seen you all week. And then, you're the dad. So you walk in and there's this instant expectation of, well, I'm going to say something and you're going to listen and everything's going to be great. But they don't feel that way. So we got to settle back into their daily lives. And I think that's why I wanted to hit pause really quick, because to me, that's what I hear. It's like, analyze these things you're putting into your day that take you away from the thing that you ultimately want, and see if you really need them there.
Take that 30,000 foot view. So for men that are going through really challenging times, maybe even in midlife, take the moment like you did. Take the moment and go connect with people that have been through it and that can help you to find your own answer, that can help you to fly up that 30,000-foot view and look down on your life from that perspective and prioritize what you truly want and what truly is important to you, and recognize how you're going about doing it and why you're going about doing it. Are they for the right reasons? And when we do that, or we work with life coaches or career coaches or executive coaches, whoever it is we decide to work with as men, to be sure that they have the tools and the wisdom, and they've lived it. They have lived those periods, and they can offer some guidance around how do I navigate this world? How do I navigate what's going on within me to get to ultimately the happiness that's right here, right now? But we want more money. We all know with inflation, we all know where the economy continues to go.
Sure.
So we do need to make more money. But it's also to have this innate knowing that whatever we need will be provided for us. And if we have to adjust and adapt and modify our lives, what's truly important is that connection to ourselves, that connection to our kids and our families, and in our spiritual life, to the work we're doing. When we look at Dharma, it's how we go about doing the work that we're doing. It isn't so much doing it this for that. It's doing it this because I'm doing it with the positive intention of coming from the heart and coming from a place of serving others. It's about service, and so many other people view it. It's really about serving others and coming from that place.
Well, how about it this week? Why don't we set an intention? If you have some time coming up with your kiddo and there's an opportunity to get under the hood, let's do it. Cancel that upcoming meeting. That's just a fluff piece. You don't need it. Go be home with your kids. Ultimately, that's what we all would like to have. Whether we didn't or did have a great relationship with our own parents, there's not a mom or a dad alive that wouldn't say to you, yeah, I want to have an incredible relationship with my children for the rest of my life. You know, I want to never have a feeling where I don't really want to call them today. No parent would ever say that's the relationship they want with their kids. But if we keep down this road, sorry to say, you're going to get what you signed up for. But it's not too late. What do you always say? What's the prayer?
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you for listening to Learn from People Who Lived It. A reminder again that ASI, or Advanced Systems Integration, designs and installs cutting-edge audio and visual equipment. This woman-owned small business is big enough to find an AV solution for your next boardroom, classroom, council chambers, or courtroom. Bring in ASI and 2 decades of AV experience. Visit ASI-AV.com to see their gallery of work.
She bit my heart, she didn't break it. Well, she took a big bite, said it tastes like bacon. Lips like Presley, moves like Elvis. You forget about your heart when she shakes her pelvis. Yeah. Oh, we got nights to dream and wings to fly. Still young, but not tonight. I wouldn't have it any other way. We got gravy boats and mortgage payments. It's been so long since I've seen the rain. It's where I'll be when I die. It's where I'll be when I die. We got nights to dream and wings to fly. We're still young, but not tonight. I wouldn't have it any other way.
We have 3 goals with Learn from People Who Lived It. 1. To help you feel less alone. 2. Encourage you to seek out a coach, a therapist, a church, anyone who can help you get through your journey and find some healing. 3. When you're ready, share your story with us.